Hi guys, welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We recently had the announcement that we're going to get Until Dawn, the movie. And what this whole video is basically about is me, Jack, and Anya. Hello, Anya.
Hi.
Are going to show you who we think should live, who we think should die, changes we'd make, things we'd keep, if we were directing Until Dawn, the movie ourselves. So yeah, we're all going to take turns saying like who's living, who's dying, and why. Recently, we put out a video about the announcement of the Until Dawn movie. Now, we know a lot of you in the comments said that you would completely ditch the original cast and you would do something away from what the game had. That might be the case, but we're going to take it and assume that we're keeping the original 8 teens in the game. So yeah, we are going to be playing with Jess, Emily, Chris, Mike, Matt, Josh, Sam, and Ashley. So yeah, without further ado, Jack will let you get the ball rolling.
Oh, strap in, boys and girls. Right, okay, so my version of Until Dawn. Right, so I'll start off with who lives. So the people that will live will be Ashley, the Stranger, Jessica, and that's it. Right?
Oh.
Who dies? Mike, Chris, Sam, Emily, Matt, and then Josh goes to a prison or an institution. That's his ending. Right? Right, so basically, my plot. We know in the original Until Dawn, right, that in the prologue, Mike is with Emily, and then in the main game, he's with Jess. For me, I wanted to mix this up a little bit. I actually want Mike, in the bulk of this movie, to be having an affair with Jess. So he's still with Emily, but he's sneaking behind her back and he's actually, seeing Jess on the side. My other thing would be is that my lead protagonist in this movie would be Ashley. So you tend to get this in horrors where there is one central character that you do tend to follow. And I didn't want that to be Sam or Mike in this. I did want that to be Ashley. As we've mentioned in another video as well, I did want to replace, in terms of where characters move to, I wanted to replace Chris and Ashley as the people that were tormented by the psycho with Mike and Emily. So they'll be the ones that, get in the traps and, at the end of Josh's torment, basically. And Chris and Ashley will be the ones that go off to the lodge together to potentially, explore a romantic angle. And here's the one where I've sort of took a little bit of creativity with. So because Jess is having an affair with Mike, I wanted to mix up the basement scene a little bit. So rather than Mike shoot Emily, I actually wanted to have Jess shoot Emily. So basically what's going to happen is that Jess is going to find the book. She's going to know that Emily can't get it infected and become a Wendigo. But she's going to use that to her advantage. She's going to dispose of the book. And then she's going to be like, oh guys, she's infected. She's going to become a Wendigo. And then she's going to shoot her in the head under the guise of that. But really it's to basically get her out the picture so that she can end up with Mike. As far as everything else goes, so if you're talking about Chris and Ashley going off together, when Ashley gets caught by the Wendigo, Chris catches up with her. She doesn't fall down the elevator shaft, so they stick together, and that eliminates Ashley being removed from the bulk of the film, like Jess was in the game. Chris dies because he sacrifices himself for the Stranger. I wanted to keep the Stranger alive because he does in the game. He just serves as exposition and he gets killed off, and I didn't like that, so I wanted to keep him alive. As I've said already, Jess will kill Emily in the basement. Matt pretty much is going to be the same. The only difference for Matt is that rather than him and Emily go to the radio tower, it will be him and Jess. So Matt's going to basically have the same, but he's going to get hooked. So that will be his death. Mike will die by blowing up the lodge. So I really wanted Mike in this game to be the ultimate dick. I wanted him to go on an arc so that by the end of the game, he's actually sacrificing himself by blowing up the lodge and saving everyone. As for Sam, she just straight up dies at the end with the Wendigo. She moves accidentally and it kills her. Emily is shot by Jess. And like I said already, Josh ultimately goes to prison for his, or an institution, for his shenanigans with being the psycho. So yeah, that's my pitch for Until Dawn the movie, guys.
It's certainly different. You've changed up a lot, but like, you know, one thing I like about that, mate, is that if anyone's a diehard Until Dawn fan, they would certainly be in it for a treat if they watched that, because like they wouldn't expect most of the things you threw at them. So yeah, certainly a very plausible version of events there. Okay, sweet. Okay, so now next up we're gonna have Anya with her version of Until Dawn. So how does your Until Dawn the movie look, Anya?
Okay, so one of my favorite things about how the game works is like you can make pretty much anyone be like your final girl or whatever. And then Sam and Mike are very like in that final whatever trope. So I'm gonna get rid of them. They're not my final girl, they're not my final guy. I chose for Emily and Chris to be in this role instead. And then I have an extra survivor in Jessica. And then I'm debating if I want Matt to live or not, because he does have an iconic hook death. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But then I also had a little change with Matt and Jessica in the mines if they end up meeting there. So I picked Emily for my final girl because I think she has one of the more interesting stories to follow in the game. Like she's very more focused on like the Wendigo side. In the mines is like one of like the locations of the game aside from like the actual lodge and the hotel. And fuck the sanatorium. I hope we don't spend more than 5 minutes there. I mean, I guess they would need a reason to leave the safe room in the first place because Mike goes back to the sanatorium, but that can be for the movie to figure out. That's not my problem right now. But I think she has one of the best chase scenes. She has a lot of like intriguing storyline potential. They could definitely soften her up to make her more rootable, since a lot of people, you know, from the game, she's very divisive. We know that. So one of the things I would like in the mines, if she could reunite with Jess, even just briefly, like if they split up again, so Em can have her own escape and then Jess is still stuck there. Yeah, definitely want Em to escape and get bitten, since the safe room scene is also pretty iconic. I think it would add a little bit of drama to have like Mike nearly shoot her and Ashley piss her off and all that. And I think like just shooting Em after all she went through, like that's kind of like a lame way to end her story, I guess. And then Chris, I like how he's more connected to the Josh side of the story, and he has relationships to invest in with Ashley and Josh. And there's more emotional potential with like losing Josh and Ashley. Because I know if Ashley gets trapdoored, which is the death I would want to have for her, because if I have Jess alive too, it just makes more sense that way, that she's hearing Jess's voice. I think what I want is for Chris to stay behind and find her beanie, but then not die. And then another change I would make is if Jess and Matt reunite in the mines, I guess. I would want Matt to be able to die saving her, since they can't. Jess either dies alone or with Matt, but Matt always lives, even if Jess doesn't. Not always, but. So I think that would just be a little extra push to like traumatize her a little more. Not that I want her to suffer, but I think it would just be another layer of tragedy that her character has gone through. I also debated if I wanted Josh to live or not, because I didn't think much about giving him a better ending. I like Jack's idea of like locking him up somewhere instead of just killing him or being a Wendigo. I went for a Wendigo ending though, just because I think that's more intriguing, I guess, even though killing him is a bit of a mercy for his whole story, but he doesn't deserve either ending in my opinion. So if they could change that, I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, that's basically the gist of what I would go for.
Nah, very well. I actually really like that as well. Certainly some stuff in there that I didn't expect either. But yeah, no, pretty cool. Really interesting as well that you're killing Sam and Mike off. I'd really like that though. Like, especially if I saw that in the cinema, I would be gobsmacked. I wouldn't have expected that. So yeah, certainly something to like think about there. With my game, so I've kind of kept it a bit like Anya's. I've not gone into too much change like Jack did, despite the fact that we made a whole video on why we think like Chris and Ashley should switch places with Mike and Jess. I will keep it with what the game gave us just for the sake of this video. Now, the first character to die off for me would be Matt. Jack mentioned it as well. It's just the hook is the best death, and I feel like I want that. It's kind of at this point where we're introduced to the Wendigos, and I feel like that would make the Wendigos that much more threatening if we just had some like a lovable character like Matt instantly die with a really gruesome death. I was even thinking about maybe having like a false hope moment where he even has the flare gun and then he actually misses the shot, just to, you know, fuck about with the fans that much more. So yeah, Matt is the first death in the game. The second death I have down is Chris. Everyone knows how much I love Dark Ashley. I just think it makes her character go from kind of like shy, quiet girl to this girl with this like hidden evil dynamic where like maybe like the girls we hate are actually the nice ones, and then the girls we love are actually the evil ones. I like the idea with playing with that dynamic. So I want Dark Ashley in this game. So yeah, it's the fact that Chris and Ashley is probably the most organic relationship in the game since they're not already established and you're watching them kind of fall in love as it happens. So having Ashley turn on Chris right at the door would be like a surefire way to enhance Ashley's character by making us lose a loved character such as that. I know Jack wanted to keep the stranger in, but now I'm killing him off. I'm thinking like Chris steps on the twig and then the stranger dies, because I think it is like really haunting when you see that the first time. Your like protection with the flamethrower dies the moment like, you know, he backs us up. And the last kind of death I have is Mike. I want to have the whole thing where he sacrifices himself in the lodge with the lighter. I want to have more of a guilty arc with Mike in this game, because I think the game does not a poor job but not the best job of like having him go from the person that's mainly responsible for the prank to then being this hero. I feel like there needs to be more of a branch there, and I think the way you do that is his lodge walk with Jess. He kind of like speaks to him and then Jess sort of says, nah, this is why we need to feel guilt, we're responsible, and then Mike kind of sinks that in throughout the game and then takes his own life to save everyone else. I say like Josh alive. I want him like Anya to have the Wendigo ending at the end. I just think it would be really cool if like some people leave the cinema during the credits but others stick around, and then midway through the credits we get that whole Josh scene where he's like in the caves eating the stranger's like head off or someone, and then the cops go down there. So yeah, so if you haven't established already, I have gone for a all men die, all women live. So I'm going for a full female survivor story. I hadn't planned that originally, I just kind of devised it and I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is how it's ended up panning out. So I'll kind of mention why they're going to live. So Sam, I just like that whole final girl badassery. I think it would be cool if like you have the whole hide sequences at the end. I think it would be cool as well if it still was Hayden Panettiere, that we have a well-established actress kind of like is like the badass final girl at the end. Jess, I want her in it because I was so sold by the fact that she goes missing for a lot of the game and then she has this really cool comeback. She wouldn't meet Matt at the end, but I think it would just be even cooler if she just did everything solo. She got out herself. I think it would be pretty effective as well if we saw her afterwards as well, meet up with the others at the lodge, learning that Mike died, and then she can mourn her. I think that could be quite a powerful scene. Emily I want in at the end as well, because I think it would be cool if she, you know, goes through a bit of like a bitchy phase at the start, but then she gets the cool zip wire scene, and then she kind of like can win over the fans throughout the end of the game. And I like the idea of Ashley getting away unscathed, but no one knowing that she's responsible for Chris's death, and then I want her to walk away as a survivor with that secret kept kind of within her, and no one knows what she's done. I think that would just be like kind of like a dark ending to have there, that the other girls are walking around with a potential murderer. So yeah, I'm going for an all girls survive playthrough. Don't know what you guys make of that.
I like that. I like that a lot. I love the girls.
Well, I've got Anya on board. It would be a trophy as well. I'm sure there'll be a trophy for all girls survive, so yeah.
Yeah, there is one. 4 Daughters of Darkness or something.
There we go. Boom. I'm just trying to hit the trophies. I don't actually care about the quality of the movie. I just want to get a trophy. Obviously quite different to, you know, I think all three of us have got quite unique ones there. I think I had the most survivors in mind, but yeah, we've got Jack who absolutely switched it up. Yeah, we had Anya who had very limited survivors there, but killing off like Sam and Mike, which is pretty ballsy. And then you've got me there who's killing off the men and then making sure Dark Ashley sticks around in the game. So, guys, we hope you enjoyed that. Those are our 3 versions of Until Dawn. Drop in the comments whose you like the most, and tell us how you would write Until Dawn, who would live and who would die in your final versions of the game. But Anya, thank you very much for joining us on this one.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you in the next one. Ciao for now, guys.
Catch you later.